Hello, Bud Files. KP Heathen. Greetings. Thank you for the like, Heathen. Please leave a like to support the channel. It will be greatly appreciated. Hello, Holly Ivans. Hope everybody had a good Monday. I'm ready for Friday. Yeah. It was a day at school. It was a day at school. It is what it is. Well, I got Dave and Echo's box mailed off today. And according to the tracking, they should get it Thursday. So I went over and I left a comment on the last couple of videos that David loaded up. He did some card videos, and one of them I mentioned, look for your box Thursday. We'll see if he comes in a little while. Melinda Elliott, hello. So the next person to receive a box as a follow-up box will be Uncle Al. And I was looking at some of his shorts a little while ago. Really don't do YouTube when I'm working. So if you see me do something on YouTube, it's basically I'm gonna load up a short. It's like, well, I'll load up a short. It doesn't take very long to load up a short. I've got several shorts already loaded up and just spacing the release of them. I'm not too happy with the situation right now. Thursday, I released a short that received 6.6K views in 24 hours. 24 hours is up, it shut off. And I think that was a manipulation by YouTube. And periodically that will happen to me, where I'll get one that brings a lot more views than it would normally bring. And then after that one drops, my next few are really sad excuses from the standpoint of the number of views that they get. I've had 5 or 6 shorts since that one I dropped that made the 6.6K in 24 hours. And most of them 20 views, 25 views, 30 views. And it's like, really? Really? So I think that's the YouTube algorithm messing with me. I really think that's probably what that is. Buying space, hello. Thank you for coming. Somebody told me that they had received a content warning about me. Really? I guess I'm one of those horrible deplorables that a former presidential candidate that didn't win uh, spoke of. They must think I'm really something other if they're putting out content warnings on me. Those of you who come in here on a regular basis, do you see anything subversive or anything to worry about my content? I mean, I don't talk anything inappropriate with kids. I don't use too much profanity. I do talk a little bit of politics, and I do talk a little bit of economics. I talk a little bit about food, and I talk a lot about preparedness. You know, I don't talk very much about guns, but I have enough to probably start a war as far as my collection and, ammunition and such. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that. I don't show guns on my channel. I would go and I would buy ammunition. I'd buy, ammunition, and I would show the deals I would get, like when I would get stuff on clearance or I would get stuff, on sale. And I would show, hey, I bought, 200 rounds of this, or I bought that, or I bought, some 12 gauge buckshot or 20 gauge buckshot or whatever, and the prices I got for it. But, I'm not I don't know. I don't understand why you'll get slammed for things. I've said a few things about medical issues and what mainstream really should admit, because it's out. Like, where did this come from? How was it developed? Stuff like that. And then YouTube goes all, they go medieval on me and want to shadow ban me, or they give me a strike, or they want to block one of my videos because, oh, I said something that was medical misinformation. It wasn't, but, So, well, I'm glad you can make it too, Bind Space. Thank you. So, as I was saying before I started this little rant, I'm glad you got some camping in, Holly. Yeah, watch what I say. Don't. Freedom of speech, there's no First Amendment. There's no freedom of speech. Here's one for you. The Chinese government has until January the 9th to sell TikTok. If they do not sell it by January the 9th, it will be banned in the United States. TikTok is already banned in India, the country of India on the Indian subcontinent. TikTok is banned by the government. India and China do not get along, and it's banned. So that's 1.5 billion people, 1.5 billion people, or thereabouts. And it's looking like it may be banned in the United States. And I don't know, that might be a pretty good deal. One thing is, if there's no TikTok, people will be going back over YouTube the way they used to. So a lot of people that spend their time on TikTok will be spending their time on YouTube. So it will help YouTube. Um, we are still in hurricane season, and we will be in hurricane season until the end of November. There is a hurricane approaching Cuba. I was looking at a clip earlier about the weather. At the time, it was a Category 1, and the power grid to Cuba is down. Something like 10 million people are without power. And Cuba is a communist country. We've allowed it to be a communist country. It's a communist country. It breaks my heart that the communists are without power. But storms do that. Storms can bring down the grid. That's right. Right now they have no electricity. They're blacked out. I mean, I'm pretty sure the government. I'm pretty sure that the government has some power because they'll have alternate means of power. They'll have generation capabilities on some of their bases, some of their buildings, as long as they've got fuel to fuel it, because it'll probably be gas or diesel generators. And as long as they have fuel, they'll be able to keep their stuff running. But we're talking about just the overall grid is down. And in the past, when storms have hit Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. possession, there have been places in Puerto Rico where they're without power for 6 months or so when there's a bad storm. Certain places, and they could when they're rebuilding, they could bury a lot of this stuff underground. It costs more to do it, but then the next time they have a storm, they won't have to worry about that part of their grid or their distribution, power distribution. If there's not a pole to knock down and cut a wire or whatever, then you don't have to worry as much about your power going down. And in some more of their, I guess what you'd call rural areas, where that happened. But there were areas of Puerto Rico, and they were accusing them of all sorts of graft and incompetence and everything, where they were without power when there was a storm for like 6 months. And they've had multiple storms where they get hit and they repair their grid, they repair everything, and then the next season they get hit again, it goes down again. So my thoughts would be, if you got issues that you're dealing with, go ahead and just start upgrading so that doesn't hit you the way I mean, you're still going to get hit because there's still going to be like your cities and such. You're still going to have a lot of poles down. You may have areas, your urban areas, that are without power, but like going from one city to the next, or going from, main trunk lines and such, you can protect all that stuff. Considering what all they're having to spend to redo the situation every year or two, not a good deal. Yeah, and as far as the hospitals are concerned, they generally have their own power generation. They will have generators that run on fuel. That if something happens, they've got a certain amount, like they got a week's worth of fuel or 2 weeks worth of fuel, that they can basically keep their equipment running for a couple of weeks without resupplying and the idea being, well, if there's a storm and the grid goes down, they should be able to repair it in a week. So if they've got enough fuel to keep the thing running, for a week or so, then they should be able to get their grid back up where they don't, they're not out of power on a permanent basis. But people buy generators, you buy a gas or a propane generator or a dual fuel generator. How much gas do you have? A tank of gas or a bottle of propane, depending on what size you have, you're talking less than a day. Like gasoline might run a generator for 12 hours. You fill up your little generator and you run it. It'll run for maybe 12 hours on a tank. Then you refill it. Propane, you have like a 20 pound, you have 20 pound bottles, or 20 pound canisters. And let's say that one of those will run it for a day, maybe. How many do you have? How long do you anticipate? So if it's a 20 pound canister for a day and you've got a generator, um, let's say you need to have it for a week, that's 7 20 pound canisters. And if it costs you, and I don't remember what it cost, it's been a while since I filled one of those up, but you can figure it. What does it cost to fill up a 20 pound tank? You go over to Truck and Tractor and you refill a 20 pound tank that you own. What does that cost? And then if you need to have 7 of them, multiply times 7. And I'm sure you're talking hundreds of dollars, and that would be basically to keep keep it running for a week. And then the other thing I'd point out when it comes to those smaller, little 2,500 watt or whatever generators that you get, the best scenario for that is to have 2 of them and then alternate them. Let one run for 12 hours. After it has run down, let it cool off, let it rest, fire up the other one, and you can keep one running around the clock with the 12-hour breaks, and it's easier on the equipment. It'll last longer. The equipment will last longer. And so you have to think about stuff like that. Hillbilly Josh and Mr. Whistle, welcome, guys. How are y'all doing? Please leave a like to support the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. Hello, little lone prepper. So as I was saying, in a power outage or a grid down situation, what you have on hand is probably what you will have. Now, yeah, I've seen it where there's a storm and it knocks out power, and you get people running down to Walmart or Sam's or Tractor Supply or wherever, and they want to buy generators. A lot of times, right before the storm hits, they want to buy, and they buy out what there's available, what's in stock of generators. Waiting till the last minute is not too smart. But if you can get what you need, yes, that that, you know, but it's always best to already know what you need, what you're anticipating to need, have your stuff, have it ready, so that in an emergency you'll be able to use it. I personally am into solar, so you know the idea. Well, what am I going to try to run? What will I be running? I have two refrigerators. I have a top loading freezer. And in an ideal situation, I would be able to keep my refrigeration running. One of the refrigerators has very little in it. The freezer's full. The other refrigerator is pretty full. So the idea being, if I could keep a refrigerator and my freezer running, again, I would need a couple, in my opinion, I would need a couple of generators where I could alternate them and rest them. Are you going to want to have a small generator that you're going to run continuously for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days? Is it going to hold up to do that? Likewise, those generators, you have to periodically change the oil. You have to service them and change the oil. It's not just putting fuel in them. And you really want to keep track of how many hours you run them, so that when it says so many hours you run it, you do an oil change. Well, you need to have what you need to do so that you can do that oil change. And I would have several sets of items that I would need for my oil change. You know, I'd have all that set aside so that in an emergency, I've already got it. Not that I'm going to try to run out to the store and try to buy it. There are some things that you consider to be preps or preparedness that are inexpensive. And then there are some that are very expensive. Generators are very expensive. Generators, 12-volt refrigerator freezers, items like that. Those are the expensive items. Solar panels on the roof, setting that up. Setting up a good battery bank. Having an MPP charge controller, an expensive one. Having an inverter that will switch over to 110 power. You start thinking about that. To me, it's cost prohibitive, one, to have a setup where I can run all my 110 appliances. Like, I would not be wasting inverter power to run a microwave. If I need to heat water, or I need to heat a meal or some such, I would basically boil water. I would basically put it in a pot on a camp stove with some camp heat or sterno, and I'd heat my water that way and heat my meal. I have a couple of brand new. I've got an old one, but I've got two brand new that I bought just recently. Bouge RV 12-volt refrigerator freezers, combo units that are wheels and pull-out handle, and nice ones. And I would have one I would be using for cold water, milk, sodas, cheese, butter, you know, stuff that you want to have refrigerated. I'd have the bare essentials in it. And the other one is a backup. If that one goes out for whatever reason, I'm not able to be in a situation where I can get it repaired, I got a backup. So, you have to start looking at stuff like that. And how much does it cost? Well, I bought 2 of them for under $400 each, on sale, tax, title, license, delivered. They're nice. You haul them around. You power them with I guess what you call, Uncle Al would say he'd call it a battery. They don't call it a power station, but it's like a power station. But it's like lithium iron powered. And the benefits of lithium is that you can drain it all the way. With the older AGM technology, you can't drain it below 50% or you damage the batteries. With lithium, you can drain it down all the way and then recharge it and it won't damage it. And it's good for 15,000 cycles. Lithium batteries. I just bought another Power Queen. And they're going to have a Thanksgiving sale, and I'll probably buy a third one. So I'll have 3 of them chained together. An MPPT charge controller. It's got a battery management system, so you don't overcharge. It's got fuses fused, so you don't have a power surge and blow something out. And I'd basically be using I would be using my 12 volt power supply to power a compressor driven refrigerator freezer. Like a 47 liter, 50 quart, whatever you want to call it. So I would have cold beverages. And that's civilization. Likewise, I'd be able to heat and boil water to reconstitute freeze-dried food and have my coffee and whatever. And that's civilization. That's civilization. Enrique Trevino, how are you doing? Yeah, gas generators. I prefer a dual fuel, and I would only use propane in it. Lot easier on the engine. It'll last longer. Now, between the 2 fuels, hello Mike, thank you for coming. Mike Crusher Reviews. So, between the 2 fuels, I prefer the propane. You're not going to get quite the horsepower from the propane that you would from the gasoline, but it's easier on your engine. The maintenance of it, the life of the engine will be better. And then you don't want to be switching back and forth. If you're going to run one fuel, run that fuel. If you're going to run the other fuel, run that fuel. Calculate how much you need to run it for whatever period of time you think you're going to need to run it. In a situation like a storm comes through and knocks out the power, 48 hours, 72 hours, 4 days, 96 hours, you should be back up and running power-wise. Now, if you're out in the boonies someplace where it's not the number one priority, they got other stuff to fix, it may be 2 or 3 weeks or a month before you get power back. In which case, you're sort of screwed if you're using propane or gasoline. It's going to be very expensive over an extended period of time to run that stuff. The thing I like about solar is once you get it set up, it's not costing you. You know, a lot of people get these solar setups. A lot of people get these solar setups where they're going to get money because they send power into the grid. They've got solar panels that feed into the grid. They don't have any battery bank. So in an emergency situation, in a grid down situation, the solar's not helping them because they don't have any battery bank that it flows into. Well, all of a sudden it went down and disconnected, so I just reconnected. I apologize for that. 9 in the house. Creative Redundancy. Hello, Creative Redundancy CR. Please leave a like to support the channel. But if you have solar panels on your roof and you've got a good charge controller that feeds the power into batteries, and you've got some good batteries, you can run like a 12-volt refrigerator freezer. If you have an RV, a travel trailer, a lot of that runs on your lithium, your batteries. Your lighting is pretty much going to be running on lithium. Your refrigerator, your 12-volt refrigerator, will probably be dual fueled. It'll run on your lithium and it'll also run on propane. Your stove will likely run on propane and perhaps electricity. The heater will likely run on electricity and possibly propane, maybe dual fueled. Your AC will run on electricity. If you have like any sort of roof fans, those could very easily run on your batteries. But when it comes to like your AC, chances are it's going to be running on electricity. So what I encourage you to do is do your research. It doesn't cost you anything to window shop. It doesn't cost you anything to go online and do a little research about different, forms of generators, power, the amount of power that they put, the output of them, maintenance, what it costs to keep them running, what does the fuel cost, how long will the fuel last for I don't know why I'm having issues. I'm 35 minutes into my live stream and I'm experiencing some issues. I don't understand that. Perhaps I'll cut this one short. I sent Dave his box. He should get, Dave and Echo should get their box Thursday. I'll send him a tracking number. I did leave a comment on one of his videos that he had done that they should look for their box on Thursday. The next one to get a box will be Uncle Al. He's not in here this evening. I haven't seen him. Yeah, you can always, add to your solar. You can add battery capacity. Right now, you can get a good 100 amp hour battery for under $200. You buy one, 3 or 4 months later, you got the money, buy another one. You can buy several of them and chain them together. You want to have the ability to recharge them, so you need to have enough panels to generate solar so that you can charge them, over a day or less than a day. Uh, Depending on how many watts you're trying to run through, you've got to have a charge controller that will handle that many amps or wattage. And then I would say basically run 12 volt. You can have, like, I've got stuff and I've got an inverter that I could run a microwave with it, but I would not want to be, really using that much power when I could, basically use my camp heat or my sterno and basically put it in a pot of water to heat it. Same thing with, heating coffee. Now I do have 12 volt, like I've got a 12 volt kettle, so if I want hot water, I can use my 12 volt kettle. My 12 volt kettle uses less than 100 watts of power. 12 volt uses less than 100 watts of power, whereas you use a Keurig or you use a microwave, you may be, when the thing's running, it may be running at 1200 watts of power, watt hours of power, as opposed to running it under 100. Gotta be smart. You gotta be smart with what you're doing. 10 likes, 7 in the house. Yes, diversity. And like I said, when there are sales is when you buy. Take advantage. Black Friday's coming up. They'll have good deals and stuff. Look at what the prices are prior to. Then Black Friday comes up. Know what you want. Watch for watch for a sale where you can save, 25, 30, 35, 40%, and then buy it. And you'll save a chunk. And a 100-watt solar panel you can probably get for about $100. Not a folding one, but just one that you have on the mount, or you put on your patio roof or whatever. You lay it down on your patio roof and attach it. So nowadays, you can get like a 250 watt panel, fairly efficient ones, and they're not that expensive. The batteries have really come down. The cost of batteries has really come down. But I would want to have stuff running on 12 volt as opposed to 110. For one thing, having a 110 inverter on is going to drain power just having the inverter on, not doing anything. And then when you're running it, you're running a lot of wattage through it. Like, you don't want to use an inverter to be recharging your phone or your pad or your computer or, your 12 volt lights, your lamps and various things. You want to be charging that on 12 volt. And likewise, you want to be running stuff on 12 volt. You've got a fan, get a 12 volt fan. You need refrigeration, use a 12 volt compressor driven refrigerator. Save your power, because for one thing with solar, you have to have light. It's not charging at night. It's only charging during the day when you got sunlight. and you don't get near as much power it's wintertime as you do during the summertime. And if it's an overcast day, you don't get very much power. Now there are people who, where there's a lot of wind, you can get little turbines. They make turbines that are for charging batteries and such. They're not that expensive. You mount them up, someplace where there's lots of airflow, windy days, top of the roof or whatever, and you'll get power. And it doesn't have to be light. It can be at nighttime, as long as you got wind. If it's windy, it's the way to go. You can have multiple ways. You can have solar and you can have turbines. But it doesn't do you any good to have a turbine if you get very little wind. And like I said, solar is not going to charge at night. This month, Amazon, the 8th and 9th, they had Prime Days. I bought another 12 volt, 12.8 volt Power Queen battery. I'm going to do a video on chaining them, show you how to do it. It'll be a short video. It'll be nice, and you need to watch that. If you guys have not been watching the videos I've been posting, I haven't posted that many, but if you're not leaving comments on those videos, when it's time for me to do the 1,800 subscriber, and I'm less than 30 now away, when it's time for me to do the 1,800 subscriber giveaway, I'll be looking to see who left me a like and who left me supportive comments in the last 5 videos. So I'm not asking a lot, but leave me supportive. Good Lord, wife's out there sneezing. Leave me supportive comments. Just leave me supportive comments and everything, but I'll be specifically looking at videos, the last 5 videos. And however many have done the 5, those be the ones in the hat, and the goodie box will probably be worth about $100, what I put in it. Last time there were 13. I drew for 13. And there have been times when there have been over 40. But that's pretty good odds. Hello, Mama 4 boys. Welcome. I've got a video that I did of Dave and Echo's box, which I have not released. I still need to put description in it. It's edited, ready to go. It's about 8 minutes long, where I show what's in the box. I need to load Uncle Al's box, and I'll probably do a video of that. And then I'm going to be doing a short video, a few minute video, 3-4 minutes, of me hooking up or chaining and hooking up the Power Queen batteries together. Plugging into my MPPT charge controller, showing you how I basically would just have it plugged, ready to go with a 12 volt fridge freezer. And you have a male going into a female, and you got power. But definitely shop around. Compare prices. That's what I do. And I buy when I can get a good deal. Like right now, you could go to Amazon and you can get a 100 amp hour Power Queen. And I recommend, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not paid by anybody. I basically recommend what I use and what I own. So you can go right now and get one. If you got Prime, free delivery, tax, title, license for under $200. Both of the ones that I have, I paid less than $200 a piece. So let's just say I got two of them. Say that's $400, and that's 2,500 plus watts of power, watt hours of power. You know, it's a good deal. Water filters, yeah, good stuff. You need water filters. I'm not going to bother pulling them out. Having a good Sawyer or a life straw, those are good to have. Like I said, I would use a funnel with a coffee filter to run the water through it to get any particulates out of it. And then if I'm not using like a life straw or a Sawyer filter, I would basically be using your little tablets. Get a part A and a part B mixed in with a quart of water or a liter of water, and it makes it taste a little bit better. And you know, for water purification, you want to know what your source is. You don't use salt water, you don't use pool water, you don't use toilet water. You might use rain catchment, you know, from rain, or you might have like a stream, a running stream, or you know, lake or a river, or whatever. Something, you know, you got live fish and such in it, life in it. And I would use a test kit to test it to see what, you know, what's there. And then I would basically be using my filtration. Yes, pre-filter, that's right. 9 in the house, 11 likes. The Lystra family units for them, they will purify approximately 5,000 gallons. Early Christmas gifts. That's very nice, little on prepper. You're a good mother. Yes. So be smart. Make a list. Make an inventory of what you have. Make a list of what you need. Shop it. You know, you can find stuff at garage sales, estate sales, clearance. They put stuff on clearance. And I've shown them before, these ReadyWise 72-hour kits. And they're going for like $40. I bought 20 of them, $9 a piece on clearance. You know, I bought a lot of stuff on clearance. Nothing wrong with it. 30-year shelf life. I'll probably be good when I'm dead. Yeah, I hear you. They need to take care of you when you're old, so you got to keep them healthy now. That's right. Um, I I tend to intellectualize a lot. I think about stuff. I think long term. My game is long term. So I will buy and buy and buy and build up a supply of stuff. And I've really shifted over into freeze dried. You know, the stuff that has a long shelf life. You just have to store it properly. And then I look at what is it I need. So, you know, freeze dried coffee, freeze dried milk, freeze dried oatmeal, freeze dried, you know, rice or whatever. And the idea being is put your menus together. What do you like? What do you feel like you need? And then start buying it. Like, you know, you buy a number 10 can of something, and it probably has a month or more worth of servings. So, like, you might buy number 10 can of whey milk, alternate milk, and it'll have 50, might have 50 servings, 8-ounce glass servings. So you can say, well, that would be for like one person. That would be almost 2 months. For multiple people, start doing the math of how many people. Let's say you're for 4 people. That might supply 4 people for 10 days. Maybe. They have a glass for a day for 10 days. One number 10 can. And if you start looking at it like that, well, I'll buy a number 10 can of this, and I'll buy a number 10 can of that, and I'll buy a number 10 can of this, and I'll blah, blah, blah. Different things that I want, different components that I want to be able to, have a meal or have meals with variety. Variety of stuff. And that's just the way you do it. In an emergency, go get you some off-the-shelf oatmeal. You get these 10 packs of oatmeal for less than $2. 2 packs is a meal. So if you have 2 of these $1.75, 10 generic oatmeal packs, 2 packs a day, 20 packs is 10 days. How many people? 4 people. You want a 10-day supply for emergencies? Start doing the math. Multiply it out. Instead of having 2, you need 8. 8 of those with tax, title, and license, $15. So you can feed 4 people, 2 packs of oatmeal for a meal, like a breakfast, reconstitute with hot water for 10 days for $15. What do you want to have for lunch? Tuna, beans, rice, ramen. You can go and get these ramen bowls, not the little ones, but the decent sized ramen bowls. $1.10. You need a bottle of water for it, or in a bottle of water to heat it, or boil water and then pour in 16 ounces. What does that cost you? Put some crackers with it. You buy a box of crackers. You get 4 big packs of crackers, less than $2. Start doing the math. It's not that expensive. And that stuff lasts a while. How many cases of water do you need? Person should drink 4 of those bottles a day. If that's all they're drinking is, the water. To stay hydrated, you should have 4 of those bottles a day. What's that going to cost you? A 24 pack is about $3.50 right now. 24 pack would be, for one person, that'd be 6 days. You want a 10-day supply, a 12-day supply. You buy 2 cases, it's $7. That'll be a 10-day supply of water for one person. You want it for 4 people. You buy 8 cases, it's $28 for a 10-day supply. Start adding it up. What it will cost you to do what you want to do. Yeah, they want to charge for everything. They want to charge you for everything you do. Oh, and trust me, everybody's going to be paying for the hurricanes in Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, Tennessee, Houston, Louisiana. Everybody's going to be paying for that. Your insurance is going to be on it. Even if you're someplace where you weren't hit, they spread it around. So those billions of dollars that they got to put out, don't worry, they're going to hit you to get it back. And when I say that, and I'm talking about that, I'm not wishing that on anybody, because I'm not wishing on myself, because I own a house. My house, I could sell it today for about $250,000. And it's not that, when it was built, nice, decent, middle-class brick house. 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2-car garage. And it's been updated. It's built back in the 60s. But they keep going up on the valuation of it. They don't raise the rate, they raise the valuation. So the rate at which they're taxing you, they don't raise that. They raise the valuation, what they value it at, which makes you owe them more. It's a scam that they're doing to people. It's the way it is. It is what it is. So if you'd like to be in the running for my 1,800 subscriber giveaway, which should be sometimes in the near future, because I'm about 30 short right now. And I'm not pushing, it happens. They come in. I have, in the last cycle, I have 41, 42 new subscribers. It's like the last month. When I push, I get 100 a month. When I don't push, I just told you what I had. I finally got monetized. I waited a long time. I could have got monetized back in January, and I waited a long time to apply for it. But I sold out to the man, as Uncle Al would tell you. Sharecropping. But I have not, I'm not going to be doing memberships, and I don't want people to send money to me. I don't do Patreon. I don't say send me money. You want to send me a box? Great, I'll send you a box. We'll exchange hostages, so to speak. And I send out boxes to people that I like, that follow me for an extended period of time. They're there, and my way of giving back. So the next box will be Uncle Al. It'll be a follow-up box. And then there'll be some more following that. And then hopefully there'll be the 1,800 subscriber giveaway box. But to qualify, you gotta leave me a like and a supportive comment on each of the last 5 videos I will have released when I hit 1,800. And there were people who left me comments on 3. There were people who left me comments on 4, but there were 13 the last time. Only 13 that left me comments on all 5. I'm not asking a lot. And I appreciate when you leave me a comment or you leave me a like when you watch a short. Anytime you watch somebody's video, at least leave them a like. There is one person who comes into my channel constantly. They stay for a minute. They'll say, "Hello, peoples," and then they'll say hello to a few people. They've never given me a like. Never given me a like. I've been to their channel and I always leave a like. I'll leave a comment and a like. But I don't get the courtesy. I guess they don't have the home training to do that. You know. They're not here right now, so they don't hear what my comment. But I mean, I've shamed them before. When they have been, they probably just switch channels immediately. It's just an aggravate to me. It's just an aggravation to me that happens. Anyway, I've been on for an hour. I appreciate the support. I will try to be back tomorrow for another edition. When you get up in the morning, thank God for the day. You don't know how many days that you have. They're numbered. Take your medication, drink your coffee, say the Lord's Prayer. Have a good day. And join me hopefully tomorrow for another edition of Coffee Talk. Bye-bye. Thank you.